Let's get into like a fun mood. I think the energy we want to bring is fun.
Hello. What up, everyone? And welcome to the very first episode.
Episode 1.
Episode 1, introduction episode, if you will, of our Conquer podcast.
Let's go.
How good.
Here we are.
I'm Veronica, if you didn't know.
I'm Chris. What's up?
And I'm Eric, guys. What's going on?
So we've had the idea of creating this podcast for quite some time, and we've actually already recorded some episodes, but we were just like, we need an intro. We need to let everyone know what we are about. So Eric, what are we about?
What are we about? Whilst you were saying that, I was just thinking, right now I have a shaved head and this is the first episode, but in episode 2 I will not have a shaved head, so everyone's going to be like, what's going on here?
This man has got some extreme hair growth
Yeah,
abilities.
so we've shot like
Quick
3
change of
episodes and now this is episode 1 and I've got a haircut in the meantime. But what are we about? So we're the Conquer Amazon podcast, and like, did you introduce us as Conquer Amazon podcast?
Oh,
The
we can call it
Conquer
Conquer.
podcast.
The Conquer.
We're still unsure about the name, to be completely honest. Conquer.
To be
Well,
finalised.
what are we about? I think the main thing is, we're Amazon sellers and we're experts at selling on Amazon. For those of you that don't know, we together run a multi-7-figure Amazon business together. It's called Prodigy X. You can literally look us up on Amazon, on Shopify. And we run that brand together, and we've found together that no one in Australia really talks about Amazon.
No, not
And
at all.
we're out here doing good numbers in Amazon, and a lot of people started asking us like, hey, what are you guys doing? It's so unique. Like, you don't hear Aussies talk about Amazon. But there's an interesting time right now because Amazon Australia is taking off, and that's kind of one of the main reasons we started this podcast, right? We want to actually educate people on what Amazon is, what Amazon Australia is, and there's an incredible opportunity. So alongside running our business, Prodigy X, we also have our education company, right, which is called Conquer Online.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, why we're talking about the name being Conquer is
Yeah.
because our Amazon business is Conquer Amazon. So
Or
this,
Conquer AMZ.
Our,
Conquer
educa-
AMZ.
our education
to be
company.
specific, Conquer AMZ, because, can't be stepping on Amazon's toes. But
Yeah, there was a trademark thing there.
But yeah, so Conquer is the name of the podcast, or what we're thinking about. And we're here to conquer
Well,
everything.
I just want to nail it down, like down the barrel. Like, it is our aim to educate and
100%.
provide value and to give as much as we can, because we've been selling on Amazon since 2018, right? And in that time, we've learned a lot of lessons. We've had a lot of fuck ups. We've had a lot of successes. We've had a lot of failures, and that's the beauty of it. That now, like, I mean, it's a bit of fun, really, because we're not expecting this to go crazy, but we have so much to offer and we have so much to give, and I feel as if we've been too quiet for too long.
Yeah.
And people need to know about Amazon and the opportunity that there is, especially in the landscape right now where everyone bangs on drop shipping still, everyone bangs on crypto and now AI. Just like, guys, Amazon.
Yeah.
And
Like-
I was going to say, there's a good chance if you're here right now, like you've either looking to do with Amazon and you've found us because of that, because no one's actually talking about this. So if you're here right now, like you're in the right place. You are in the right
welcome.
place, and
Yeah.
we're going to help you to educate you along the way. But sorry, I just cut you off.
No, I was just, continue on from that. It's like, as both of you guys have said, we want to share with you all our stories because Amazon has changed all of our lives. You will soon, in a moment, learn a little bit about us. We didn't, we weren't in the business background at all. Majority of us, came from, or I'll start
Two
it off.
9-to-5ers.
We had a tradie. We had Eric and I went to university. I'll start with myself. Like, I was a physiotherapist for 8 years.
Yeah, and by the way, for everyone
Like-
wondering, Veronica and Chris are married, so they're husband and wife, and I'm the brother of Veronica, and we all run this business together.
Yes, it's a very
I'll
much
put a
a
ring on it.
family.
So we have our family business here, and
Yeah. But the point that I wanted to make is, like, in a moment you'll hear how it has changed our life, and we're in a very unique position where, we're all family. Right now we've been recording these podcasts in Bali, and basically because we can, like Chris and I went on our honeymoon in Thailand. We're like, where do we go now? We go to Bali. Eric met us here as well when we work from our business. Like, we can literally go wherever we want. So when people ask us, like, how are you doing this? We're doing it because of Amazon. And it's not something that you can, go to university to, even all the stuff that you see online. Like, Amazon, like any other business model, is forever changing, and the only people who know what's actually happening are the people that have their business
who are doing it,
right now, and we're doing it right now. Like as Eric said, you Google Prodigy X,
teach this stuff.
It's there.
To what you were saying before, I think like there was an interesting point there that we come from a background of working, being young professionals. Like you were a physiotherapist, so you were. You got top grades in university, right? You got 99 ATAR, whatever that means in Australia, means you top score. And then you went from graduating university and taking that very seriously into actually being a physiotherapist for a number of years as a young professional, right? Like, I think it would be really cool if just quickly we just went around and kind of like talked about like in couple minutes, like our background, just so people can get to know us. Like, it wasn't that we were just like, oh, we're these business geniuses and we just always had this brains for business. Like, it's complete opposite. I mean, we all come from like a single mothers too. Chris from a single mother. We were raised by a single mother who was an immigrant, and it's not as if we were handed stuff on a silver platter. We actually had to work and develop skills and do stuff. And I think that's a lot of people in the audience that are watching this can resonate to that, because they're sick of all these other people out there that maybe came from a background and stuff when they know that it's hard, and it is hard, and we've worked hard to get here. But Veronica, like maybe starting off with you and your background in physiotherapist and how you got to actually being a multi-7-figure Amazon seller.
Yeah. So I was actually talking to Chris about this today, in terms of a lot of people when they talk about their stories of, how they started a business and they were able to quit the 9 to 5, how their 9 to 5 was so terrible and things like that. I actually don't have a story like that, and I always like feel a bit gross, like saying, oh, I was so tired. Like, yeah, any work is tiring, like, because it's work. But I did I was like very fortunate to get into the degree that I loved. I love health, I love fitness, and I pursued a career that was there. And I had my own physio studio. I also did a bit of PT, but then I also dabbled in like little businesses. As I said, I had my own studio, but then I dabbled into network marketing, all of these things. So I always had, I'm not going to...
A few side hustles on the go.
A few side hustles. Like, to be frank...
What was the reason why?
I want to make bank. I want to be filthy rich, and I'm not afraid to say that. And I think that comes from our single mum. Our parents immigrated from Poland. Money was always a negative thing in our household. And when I was a child, I was just like, F this for a joke. When I have a family, they will never have a negative word about money or have that pain around what money can cause when there is financial stress. So I was like, my goal was like, I love physio, I love this kind of work, but I do want to make a lot of money. I was very ambitious in terms of the money that I wanted to make, and there was a point where even though I loved my career, I kind of reached the ceiling of what physio I could earn in physiotherapy. So that was number one. And number two, I went traveling for 18 months, and I was doing random jobs. This is in my late 20s, random jobs. And I came back to Australia during COVID, and I was like, well, I want to have that freedom still. I want to have that freedom and still exploring. And at that point I couldn't actually fathom to be like, I don't want to go back to physio and go to a room that there's no windows, where I was just frolicking in Europe for the whole summer. So I was just like, how can I make money and have that time freedom? I wanted to travel at that point. So 2020, I was like, I want to travel and make a lot to And now here we are, 2024.
Okay, but then how did you get to Amazon? There's a massive gap there. You capped in physiotherapist.
Well, I think it's maybe get a background, because a lot of how we got to Amazon, I think it all overlaps, because we all did it together.
I think it kind of leads a little bit towards Eric, because that's how we kind of got into Amazon.
Well, yeah, how I got into Amazon.
You said earlier,
Mama.
You said earlier, you've been in Amazon for a long time. You didn't actually say how long. So Eric, how long have you been in Amazon for?
Thanks, Chris. Great question.
Thanks for asking.
So I've been in Amazon since 2018. That's the year I actually started. Well, actually, at the end of 2018, I launched my first ever product on Amazon USA, which was the first ever bamboo fruit basket ever in the history of the world to be launched on Amazon USA. I'm very proud about that. It's what I tell girls at bars when I'm picking them up. I'm like, I don't know if you know.
It works.
I mean, just because I don't want to go too long with this story and stuff, but just quickly, how I actually found Amazon was because one day my mum just tells me, Eric, and she's got an Eastern European accent, very Polish, Eric. And at that time we were living off of Centrelink. So mum wasn't working. Veronica and I were both working jobs. We were at university, and it wasn't fun in our household. It was a tough time, and it was just like, everything seemed hard in our life and in our house. And mum comes to me one day and she's like, Eric, I bought this course off of a YouTube advertisement. This guy's teaching people how to sell on Amazon. And I'm like, Mum, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how much you pay for that? She's like, oh, it costs like $1,000. And I'm like, why? Like, whatever. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Mum? This guy's like 40 years old. This is my first ever business mentor, Adam Hudson. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a crack. So at that point, Veronica had introduced me to network marketing, and I was personally ready. After a little bit of time before that, I had a troubled time where I got arrested. I got kicked out of university for poor performance. I was smoking weed every day, and I was just generally a bit of a degenerate, and I had horrible habits and pretty low self-esteem, and I just felt pretty shit, and I wanted a better life, to what Veronica was saying. Like, I always had something in me. Like, I always had it in me, but it was so covered in layers of bullshit. Layers of bullshit that I had told myself, layers of bullshit that other people told me, layers of bullshit that society as a whole tells you of how you should be, what you should do, how life should be. And there were so many layers, and I was buried so deep in that, to the point where I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was depressed, and like I said, I was at university, and I was just living this empty existence. I felt so empty. And then I did network marketing for a year, which was what Veronica started doing. And in network marketing, for those who have ever been to one of those network marketing events, it's massively personal development based. So everyone is just crazy about books and vision boards and the law of attraction and all of this stuff that I'd heard of before. But at that point, I was 21 years old. It just clicked for me. It just felt so right, and it felt so integral to like who I felt that I actually was. So that sparked this personal development journey. And then that was in 2017. And then in 2018, my mum presented this course, and we were like, what are you doing? Why did you buy this course? Are you out of your mind? And I watched the first two like videos of this course, and I saw these products making this money online. And when I say money online, there were these two claws, and it's basically these products that you use for like Thanksgiving. So for a turkey in USA, because Thanksgiving's a big deal over there, you use it to like claw the turkey out of the oven and put it on a plate or on a table, like safely, right? That's the product. And that product was doing 370,000 USD a month, like crazy numbers. And I remember my jaw like literally hit the ground. I was like, you are kidding me. And a few like videos into the program, I was like, this is for me, 100%. This is for me. But meanwhile, I was working 2 jobs in Adelaide, and I was still at university. So I got kicked out, but then because my mum wanted me to, I went back to university, and I had to like give like a case to like a table of like literally 15 professors. Like it was like a courtroom, like, and they were wearing ties and all very formal, and I had to go in and read this paper to everyone, like, hey guys, please let me back into university. I swear I can change. And it was like a verdict, like no one would smile. It was just like dead straight. And then I got a letter a few months later, and they let me back in. So yeah, then at the end of that year, after a year of being at university, studying as a full-time student, working 2 jobs, and then I started this Amazon business. That was all in the same year. And at the end of that year, I launched my first product, the bamboo fruit basket, on Amazon USA. In its first month, that product did 10,000 USD in sales. So it was an instant like success. And I was like, wow, like this is real, like this is awesome. And
it's that like instant realization, you're like, this works as well.
Yeah, I remember the first day that I got my first ever sales. I remember it so clearly. It was December 23rd, a couple of days before Christmas, 2018. It was a Sunday, and I worked every Sunday at Foodland. So like I worked on the checkout, packing bags, and on the cash register. And Sundays were the worst. Like you got paid more, but they were the worst because it's a fucking Sunday. You shouldn't work on Sundays. Like Sundays, you just want to chill. Day. Like, yeah, it's God's day, and like you just want to like do your own thing on a Sunday. Most of the time I was hungover anyway, and like it was just horrible. But I remember waking up late for work. So I'd start my shift at 11 a.m. and I woke up at like 10, like 15, and I was like, fuck, I'm running late. It's one of those mornings. Like I have to like hustle and like get ready for work. And just as I was going to run out the door to go to work, I was like, oh, let me just quickly check that Amazon thing, because I'm pretty sure those products that I sent, all the money that I saved up that I use on this business, I'm pretty sure those products are live on Amazon now. Like, who knows? Like, at this point, I didn't even know what I was doing. Like, I was literally just like, as they say, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what stuck at that point. Like, I had no idea. I just followed some instructions, did some general stuff, and sent something over. Which is a credit to myself, because I put a lot of money in my first time, because I guess I've always had good risk tolerance. I was like, fuck it, like let's just try this, like let's just give it a crack, put all my money into it. And that day, so I was about to run out for work, and I quickly checked this Amazon thing on the laptop, and I refreshed the page. I log in, I'm like, oh shit, I sold 3 fruit baskets last night as I was sleeping. And I was like, oh shit, that's like 150 USD in sales. And like the profit was like half of my shift basically for that day to come. And then like I actually like had this moment, and then I just started crying. I just started crying like a little bitch, like.
All that effort, like day. Like
it meant so much.
I'm sure we'll definitely do another episode where it will like be nitty gritty of all your story details. But that year, you like as a first product, you probably chose one of the hardest products to do, because you created it yourself. It was made out of bamboo. Maybe
we'll have a podcast later where we'll individually unpack everything. But I mean, that's it. And that was up to 2018, and then we had that brand, and then we sold it. It had a spike, then it had a dip, and then there was COVID, and we sold it, and then we started Prodigy X, and kind of here we are now.
We've had a few brands in between there.
What about you though,
Chris?
I wanted to go and say, like, I remember that first ding of any online sale. I remember the exact same place as well. I was with mum, and like I remember that happening. But like, oh, this actually works. Like, it's my phone's.
But that was
Amazon, I think this is perfect to pivot into your story in general, Chris, because it's absolutely, because your first sale online leads into Amazon anyway.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking as like you were talking about your stories and saying how you went to university. I never thought about this. I never thought of myself as like an entrepreneur or someone who does things differently. But realistically, if I look back to even schooling, like I always did things differently to my main friends. Like they went to university, I went to plumbing. Like I played different sports to them. I did drama. They didn't do drama. Like I had my friendship group, but I was always a little bit different. And I look back, and that obviously shows some entrepreneurial qualities. Like I was okay to do things that
you were able to go against the grain a little bit.
And I was okay with that. And even you can look back at some of my partying days. Maybe I partied a little bit harder than them, and maybe they didn't do that. So, like,
are you sure that's not just you being competitive?
There's good and bad things.
I will out-party you.
But there's good and bad things. But I was thinking about it just then, and I was like, yeah, maybe I did actually, without knowing it, have some sort of entrepreneurial background. But it wasn't until I met Veronica, and when we met in France and then went to Greece, that she kind of opened my eyes and asked me like what I wanted to do in the future. And I didn't really have a plan. I had no idea of what I was just happy. I really love traveling. I found that I love traveling. I'd been working seasonal work in between plumbing, and I love that lifestyle, but I didn't know how I could continue that lifestyle. And then meeting Veron, she questioned me on how I could how I could keep living this lifestyle and still make money as well. And I didn't have an answer. And then obviously became good friends with Eric, being the brother-in-law to be. And then he was doing Amazon, and I actually started dropshipping first just to kind of learn a bit of e-commerce, and that's when I got my first dings.
Can I just pause there, because I want everyone to realize where Chris was in terms of like technical.
I think I know exactly what you're going to say.
Because we get a lot of questions, be like, but I'm not very tech savvy. Like, what do I do on the laptop? I remember the three of us went together Adelaide Apple store to buy Chris's first laptop.
Yeah. Chris was 28 years old and he had never had a laptop before.
I had a laptop, guys.
You do. We were like, you were like, I just started an online business. We're like, sick. You're like, I need a laptop.
I had multiple laptops. I'd just been away for a while and I didn't travel with one. And my one was like, it was a brick. Like, it was an outdated, like, I don't know, what were they? Like
bloody Macintosh.
DHL or
That's
something like that. I don't know, something like that. That it wasn't, I didn't have a good one. And I went all in and I was like, money's in the accounts. Go buy me a laptop. Went and brought the newest laptop and I just got into it. Yeah. And I don't know, like a month or so later, I had my first sale, was selling some coffee capsules.
That was such a pivotal moment too, because I was running my Amazon business, but we were all interested in drop shipping too. And it's important that we touch on this because we have tried everything. Yeah. We've literally tried every single business you can imagine. We've tried drop shipping, we've done crypto, we've done NFTs, we've done AI, we've done network marketing, we've done Amazon. We've done them all.
And we've got a course.
We sell a digital product too, right? We've done them all. And to the point, like at this point, like I was selling on Amazon, but we were like, let's try this drop drop shipping thing together, and we all individually started doing.
Yeah, that always
drop
baffles
shipping.
me. The fact that all three of us, I remember this was in Adelaide, we were on Mama's kitchen table, all of us working on the same business but separate. So I had a shoe business. Chris was selling coffee capsules. Eric, I think you
blue light blocking glasses.
Yeah, like the fact that we were all learning something new, and like it didn't even come to it. I think there was a bit of ego. I know for me, because maybe
I was green as like I was
because it's like, but we're like, we need to do it ourselves. And I know for me that like it's more like if you don't do by it yourself, then you're taking credit for someone else's work. But it just baffles me. Like, why wouldn't we combine our knowledge and our skills together to work on a business?
That is advanced, like, because you only need 3 people in a business for like a bigger business. But like, absolutely, if you do have like a brother or a sister or a mother or a best friend, and you both want to do business, go together.
Yeah.
Go do it together from the get-go. It's so much easier
because it just, even that moral support, like...
I remember like even with that, like, just to lead on to that, like I remember when I went to France while starting that first business, and basically that's when the business ended because I didn't put the time into it after that. Like
the drop shipping business, right?
I went there by myself.
Maybe just quickly carry on with your first moment also of when you got those sales and the product, because I remember it all so well too.
The product was sick, and the product was actually like reusable coffee capsules for espresso machines. You know, those quick instant ones. It was a great idea. Everything, I was getting sales, but then what happened? The downfall is I actually went to France. This is why I wanted to say this. Bronze was going to meet me in France like 4 weeks later. I had another job I was working. I was working there in the bar still. And it was the advertising side of things that I just couldn't commit to. I was still getting up in the night, like checking sales and doing stuff, but I didn't have the support like I did in Adelaide to continue on.
And that's something important to quickly touch on as well with the drop shipping model was that you had to... I mean, you didn't have a laptop 2 weeks prior, and now you're managing Facebook ads.
Yeah, it was a pretty like quick.
And that was how the business died, because the ads were all over the place. It's hard to manage. You probably would have had to create new ads and stuff. Like,
looking back, what I know now, it was actually a thriving business. And if I just ran ads longer, I would have been able to actually probably have a successful business. But I had no idea what I was doing, and I was like, but that was the first sales. That was my first online sales, and then from that it was into Amazon, because obviously came back from France and I had the taste for the online business, and Eric's there like going around doing Amazon, doing a little bit of work every day, and I'm like, wait a minute here, I need to get into Amazon.
Should tell the story of when you'd come home from work. So in 2020, I quit my job. I was a PE teacher, and I moved in with these guys.
So this was fast forward 2021. Came to
no,
visit us.
No, it was in 2020, late 2020. No. In late 2020, I quit my job in 2020. I came to visit you guys for my 25th birthday on the Gold Coast, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm going to stay here.
We had a nice 3-bedroom apartment on the beach, and Eric's like, I don't think I'm going to go home.
Yeah, I don't need to go back to Adelaide. And I never left. But then
I was plumbing.
Chris, you were a full-time plumber.
Yeah, I was back plumbing.
Maybe go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'd come back from a 10-hour day, be pretty exhausted. And Eric would be just rushing around to act like he's been doing something. He's been in bed while just watching TV. He's done his hour of day for the day, and he's just I'm actually doing something. He didn't want to make me feel bad. And I'll be like, oh yeah, ask him how my day was, and I'll be like, I'm exhausted. He'd be like, yeah, I've had a pretty big day as well. He's done nothing. He's just done the bare minimum to get his Amazon.
I would hear you coming home at 3 p.m. the door ruffling, and I'd be napping on the couch watching Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. I'm like, fuck. I had a box of Krispy Kreme donuts. Obviously, look, this was my first year. I was just living that. I didn't need to work. I didn't need to do anything, and I had income, and I was living on the Gold Coast. I was just going to the gym, and there was not much else to do at that point. And
that's where Chris, it started for me.
You were working, and
you had another idea on Amazon, and you asked if I wanted to invest in it. And I remember the beginning was I'm going to invest more and just to learn more. And then we did that business together, and we were I learned a lot, so much, and I couldn't just sit back and invest. I wanted to learn, so that's where it started for me. But yeah, and obviously having Vron's there, who was super interested in Amazon, us being together, we do everything together. That it was
everything.
We just grew our Amazon knowledge as a three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I want to. I guess since we're kind of going over now, our journey of the Amazon businesses that we had, because maybe we should actually go over what Prodigy X is. So then, definitely. If you're listening, you can appreciate, quite frankly, the shit that we had to go through to create Prodigy X and what it is right now today. Eric, what's Prodigy X?
It's our love brand. We love it. It's our passion brand. It's our passion brand. It's our love child. It's our passion brand.
Usually when someone asks me what do you do or what do you sell? I'd be like, I usually say like, oh, I help people get really, really cold until their skin turns blue. Then afterwards they feel amazing. And I'll just,
really awkward.
and then I'll just stop for a second. I'll look at them in the eyes as they think that I'm a murderer, and they'll be like, what? And then I'm like, oh, we own what we do is what Prodigy X is. Basically, we own a health and wellness company, right? And we specialize in the field of biohacking, where specifically we sell products that are a little bit different and more revolutionary and more modern in regards to truly helping athletes, high performers, and entrepreneurs, particularly, and health enthusiasts alike. Yeah. Basically improve their performance. That's what Prodigy X is, and that's why we have the catchphrase, unlock your potential. Yeah. But Prodigy X was just initially birthed as through opportunity. It like Prodigy X was never meant to be this big brand, and it wasn't never planned out. It was literally that we had the Amazon skills and we spotted this opportunity on Amazon and took ruthless action. Yeah. And in its first month, Prodigy X did over $100,000 in sales quickly because there was this crazy ice bath trend. Yeah. And we capitalized quick. We were some of the first sellers on Amazon USA, certainly the first in Australia to do stuff properly, then Canada, and then,
it was growing exponentially. And that's where me and Veronica came in as well, to come in and help out on this brand and grow it to the level it is now, to this multi-million dollar brand.
I literally got up to like 6 figures in sales alone. It was like, I can't do this. There's like at that point, it's like capped at one person. I needed help.
And even now we've expanded the team and we're at the level where we potentially need to expand again.
Can we share, just so again we can go back to our Jaw Define days? No
one knows what Jaw Define is.
Well, they're about to find out. So we did 100K in sales in the first month of Prodigy X being existed. So
on Amazon alone, completely on Amazon.
So that was February last year.
Yeah,
is that right? So February
it was in March. The
March
products went live March 16. So it was like half March and half of April, half of March, half of April, to make like a 30-day period.
Yeah,
that was like six figures.
So this is February 2023. Now, today, right now, is the 30th of August 2024.
Yeah. So it's been a year and a half.
So it's almost been a year and a half, or basically a year and a half, and we've passed the $2 million in sales.
Well, altogether, lifetime, we've passed 3 million. But we're doing 2 million a year at the moment.
Yeah, currently on average.
But this year, there's still 4 months ago this year, and there's Q4. We're like, anyway, I don't want to get into this too much, but the business is growing, growing.
I'm focusing on the results. So I want people to know the results.
Where we started and where we're at.
So 3 million in sales since that time. We've got 5-6 products, give or take. So that's it right now today. And when we say, we started in February 2023, it's exploded. That did explode. But what Eric just said is like, we already had the skills because of all the fuck ups and the lessons that we had to learn in the years leading to that. So when the ice bath came along, it was been like, that is an opportunity. Let's act right now. Yeah. And from the moment that product was discovered, 6 weeks later, our brand was live on Amazon. Okay. So now I want to fast forward, rewind to when we did Jaw Define. So it was a brand that
made you jaw just.
So basically, and again, and I guess we had this similar concept all the way back then. And this was the product that Chris was talking about that he invested in. Veronica invested in when we were living on the Gold Coast when we first moved there. These two,
one of my biggest investments.
There was, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's this product like Joe Rogan talked about. It's like an apple. It's like a chewy apple. You put it in your mouth and you chew it, and it builds your mandible. It literally chisels. It's real, like it works.
Yeah. If you and it literally look like trains. Jock,
it literally trains that sexy, masculine jawline. Yeah. And we created. There was again this health trend, and we were pretty quick on it. Yeah. All the way back then, but we were just amateurs. It just failed.
We got a lot of lessons from that.
A lot of lessons. We lost money, so that's normal.
And we're not going to go into a deep dive of that product today, but that was one of our. And in between that, there's been other products as well. It hasn't just been that product.
And other business models.
Brands.
Man, there's been.
Me and Ron's had our own brand. You had another brand in between that time. So we've been doing this for a while now, and both separately and together.
Yeah.
But obviously our biggest success in recent times has been working all heads in one.
And I want to circle this back now to because I think we've given really good context in regards to how long we've been doing this for, how many different things we've done, what we've tried, our successes, our failures. And this is the reason that we birthed our Conquer Online Academy. This is the reason that we birthed it, because we realized that there are people out there that aren't even doing business, that are teaching other people how to do business to the absolute detriment to everyone in society and everyone who A, wants to start a business, and B, people that actually like us, that actually want to help people. It makes everyone look bad, because it's such a cesspool of fakers and fake gurus and people that have this charisma and sales skill and are able to just put all of their ethics and morals aside to be like, yeah, I'm the shit, I'm making all this shit up and I'm going to sell you a course.
Numbers, just absolute BS. And it makes us so angry.
No, it does make us so angry, because we've seen that world. I've firsthand seen some of these people and how fake that shit is. It would blow most people's minds how fake and orchestrated it is. And that's why we started Conquer, because we legitimately have a true opportunity, a true business idea, which is Amazon Australia. We legitimately have the skills, and our program is next level. Next level.
No BS. We've done the work, and we've got the numbers to prove it.
So that's the reason that now we've started this podcast, is we want to give value and we want to educate and we want to talk about all of our lessons, all of our fuck ups, our life, and what we're doing. And something that we discussed before this podcast was that there are three main pillars that we really want to cover in the Conquer podcast, that we really want to pass on to everyone and just discuss. And that is Amazon in general, Amazon FBA, the business model, Amazon Australia in particular, because it is hot. Secondly, health and wellness, because we're so passionate, or the three of us are so passionate about it, hence why we also have a health and wellness brand, Prodigy X. And thirdly, also mindset and just general personal development, because we're so big in that world. And your business success only comes to the level that you grow yourself, and your mind success, what you actually have internal. Yeah. It's equal. Your business success, your outer world success is literally equal on part of the success you have internally. If it's not, then you self-sabotage and you break down. But this is a whole other topic in itself.
So I guess the podcast's coming today, and what we're going to go forward, we're not going to be giving you any BS, but you're going to get a lot of good juicy stuff. You're going to get the good sauce. You're going to hear about our lessons that we've learned, and you're going to hear about us, and we're just going to cover that as we go forward in this podcast.
And it's raw and it's unfiltered.
It's unfiltered.
We you notice also, it's we don't try to portray this perfect persona either. You'll notice that we're pretty goofy.
Yeah.
And we're family as well. We've done so much together. So that's, I'm going to wrap up our introduction 100%. Now.
Yeah.
So that's our intro. Welcome to the Conquer podcast, where you're going to hear everything Amazon FBA related, business related, mindset, as well as some cool, just personal lifestyle travel stuff, because that's what we love doing as well. So thanks.
Welcome, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you guys later. Bye.